Welcome to the Power of Your Mind podcast. I'm Victoria Gallagher, your host. Have you been attempting to use law of attraction or hypnosis to attract financial abundance, a soulmate, or career success? Would you like to be happy, motivated, and successful? Have better health, enjoy more fulfilling relationships, overcome struggle, and gain mastery over your life? Then join me on this amazing self-help podcast where you'll unleash the power of your mind. I'll be sharing 20 years of wisdom and techniques of hypnotherapy, law of attraction, visualization, meditation, personal growth, positive affirmations, and other effective methods to help you tap into the great power which resides in your mind and become the best version of yourself. Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of the Power of Your Mind podcast. You are listening to episode number 65. I'm Victoria Gallagher, Law of Attraction coach and best-selling author of Practical Law of Attraction, Align Yourself with the Manifesting Conditions and Successfully Attract Your Desires. I'm also a clinical hypnotherapist, founder of HipTalk.com and HypnoCloud app. So be sure to stop by hyptalk.com and sign up for your free self-hypnosis video training course. And for our listeners who found us through the Power of Your Mind podcast, you can get 35% off your first order of hypnosis downloads when you apply the code podcast to your shopping cart. Also, be sure to download our latest HypnoCloud app in the iTunes store. So today I have a very special guest with me, Wendy Merron. Wendy Merron is a board-certified hypnotist, certified instructor at hypnotherapytrainer.com. And today she is going to be talking about how to bypass old beliefs without having to work on them first and reprogram your mind for success. We're going to be talking about powerful thinking on purpose. So welcome to the show, Wendy.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for asking to, be a guest on our show. And it was so nice meeting you at our recent hypnosis convention at Hypno Thoughts.
It was fun. It was really fun.
It was fun. Was this your first time, or have you been to?
Oh, I've been there. This is my third time. And I love the convention. I love that it's an international convention and people are so nice and really open I get to learn a lot and That's great.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure I'm fond of Las Vegas in the summer.
What was it, like 108 there?
Oh God, it was miserable.
Yeah, in just a couple days, I'm actually going back to Las Vegas because a client of mine we've developed a nice relationship online. He and his wife are going to be coming out here to Las Vegas, and so we're going to meet him up there.
Oh, that does sound like fun.
Yeah. This time we won't be in such a smoky environment that Orleans.
Oh my gosh. I went to see a show. I went to see Cirque du Soleil.
Mm-hmm.
And
which one? Because Cirque du Soleil.
We went to see the Michael Jackson one.
Okay.
And we were sitting in the third row. It was kind of like being inside a video game for 2 hours. I mean,
oh my goodness.
By the time we were done, I had no idea. I'm thinking, this is really trippy. And I remember thinking, God, I feel like I'm hearing music in the back of my head. And then I realized they had speakers in the back of the seats.
Oh my goodness.
It was like a real 3D kind of an experience. And they had, at the end of this, they had a hologram of Michael Jackson, a life-size hologram of him dancing on stage, but he was dancing in such a way he was interacting with the other dancers.
Oh, that is so
really
neat.
Trippy. Yeah.
That is so. I've seen almost every Cirque du Soleil show there is to see there, but I have not seen that one yet. So maybe that might be the one. Was it pretty cool?
It's the only one I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool. And,
awesome.
it's just like, it's hard to explain it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like it's kind of hard to explain hypnosis.
Yes, it
in one
is.
sentence or less.
It is. So tell me, how long have you been a hypnotist, a certified trainer?
So I've been a certified hypnotist since 2001.
Okay.
And I've been a certified trainer, I think, since 2005. And so I have an online training, a hybrid training program. 3 years ago, I put a 10-week, 100-video online training program online. So people go through that first and then come in for 5 intensive days. But through those 10 weeks, we also do live webinars and we do practicing. So I just found that teaching hypnosis in 7 or 8 days was hard on me and hard on my students, and they weren't integrating it. Mm-hmm. So this way, it's a lot more fun. So I've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, no, that sounds neat. 100 videos. That's amazing.
Well,
you must put a lot of work into that.
It was a huge amount of work. Some are 3 minutes, some are 20 minutes. Very few are really long, because most of us like to get information in sound bites.
I had to mute myself. I had to cough.
Oh, that's okay. So we just want to get our information in sound bites, but with the live webinar, we really go through things really well. So I've found that I tend to train recently a lot more therapists in hypnosis, which I love, because therapists really can make a difference in people's lives. And it's just really fun. It's the most fun career in the planet. How long have you been a hypnotist?
I've been a hypnotist since 1999.
Wow.
Almost 20 years, almost 21 years.
Yeah. Well, what did you do before that?
Before that, I was a stockbroker. I worked for a financial services company on Wall Street, and I did that. I was in that industry for about a little over 8 years.
So before I was a hypnotist, I worked as a stockbroker at Merrill Lynch.
Seriously?
Yes. And then I did that for a few years, and then I became a portfolio manager at Mellon Bank.
Okay. All right. Well, I could say, so I was working at the time for Smith Barney. They've changed their name so many times. Shearson Lehman. But it was Smith Barney that I worked for. So yeah, we were definitely the big five. Dean Wetter at the time, Payne Weber.
Oh, those are like old names now.
Yeah, I actually started off with Payne Weber. That was where I was a sales assistant. And then I became a registered sales assistant. And then from there, I wanted to become a broker. But the people at Payne Weber said, no, you're always going to be a sales assistant. Once you're a sales assistant, you're always a sales assistant. And so I said no to that. I'm serious. I mean, and this is like, this was definitely a good old boys network back in the time. I mean, there was like, I think, one female stockbroker in the whole office of 25 brokers at the time. So it was still a little dated.
Oh my gosh. Well, I started also as a sales assistant.
Did you really?
Yes.
Wow, I had no idea the parallels that we had. That is amazing. So what made you decide to become a hypnotherapist?
Well, I took a course way back when I was 23 called Silva Mind Control. And did you take that course too?
Not that one, but I took one called PSI Seminars. And
okay.
It's a 4-day, it was like kind of a 4-day weekend. Oh my goodness. I mean, I swear to God, this is crazy. Please continue.
Don't tell me you have a rescue dog named Ziva, do you?
No, but I have 3 rescue cats.
Okay. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I don't think anybody really in the United States goes to college and says, I want to be a certified hypnotist.
No.
We just kind of find our own path into it. Just like people who are helpers and who do change work with others. It's because it's probably, for me, it helped me in many ways. Mm-hmm. I learned about manifesting. I learned the law of attraction when I was through Silva Mind Control.
Yep.
But at the time I took the course, I was only 23 and pretty materialistic 23-year-old. I had my first apartment and I needed to furnish it. And I manifested a gold VW bug.
Wow.
And then found out it had 60,000 miles. And then I had to call the instructor and say, do I have to get this? Even though I've been focused on it for 3 weeks and it's a custom color. And she said, no, you don't have to. It's okay. But you need to make sure that you say perfect for me when you're thinking about something.
Yes, definitely. Oh my goodness. That's incredible, because I started learning about law of attraction well before I became a hypnotist as well. And I was using a lot of the lingo and the verbiage in my hypnotherapy recordings. And I believe that that's what made them so powerful. And then when The Secret came out, that's when I just decided to start evolving just my business into more law of attraction oriented. And everything's called law of attraction. Everything's called manifesting what it is, what it's been all along. It's just that I wasn't calling it that.
No, because those words weren't in our vocabulary.
They weren't.
We attract, our flowers attract bees, but we didn't attract things or experiences.
Exactly.
And in Silva Mind Control, they didn't call it self-hypnosis, but turns out Jose Silva, who created Silva Mind Control, was a certified hypnotist.
Yes.
So I didn't know any of that stuff at the time. None of it. I was totally clueless. Learning glove anesthesia so I could put it on a cut, make my hand freezing, put it on a cut, make the pain, get it to be numb. I had no idea what I was doing.
They taught that so I never took Silva. I'm very familiar with what it is, but I never actually took that course. So they taught glove anesthesia.
Absolutely.
So for our listeners who are not hypnotists, not trained hypnotists, can you explain what glove anesthesia is?
Glove anesthesia is, you explain it.
Sure. So
be more succinct than I will. I'll probably go off on a tangent.
Yeah. So basically it's, you're taking your hand and you're numbing your hand, because it's much easier to think about your hand going numb and big and thick and just taking out all the feeling out of your hand. And then once you have created that sensation in your hand, then you take your hand and you slowly apply it to the place. And usually they do this for dental procedures. So you take that hand and you move it to the place where you would like to create the numb sensation. I'm putting my hand right now on my cheek for those of you who are just listening to this. And so you allow all of the numb sensation to move into your cheek, and wouldn't you know it, your cheek, as long as you're suggestible and open to the suggestion and in that relaxed state, your cheek is going to go nice and numb. And it is a way that people can avoid having to get needles and numb themselves with needles. Many people actually use it. Was that a good explanation?
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Because I was afraid my brain was going into the depth testing world and I didn't want to go there.
Exactly.
And depth testing, just for the listeners, is a way of scientifically determining how deep somebody goes into hypnosis, even though they're really not going deep. They're just responsive. Their subconscious is responsive to suggestions.
Exactly.
But they taught that. It was pretty cool.
They also taught that in
they didn't teach that. They taught the glove anesthesia. They taught us really cool tricks on how to improve our memory. Mm-hmm. And then we also practiced a lot of psychic kinds of things that were similar to what Edgar Casey was doing. We would go to a hypnotic level and imagine somebody and be able to pinpoint where they had a physical pain. And then we would, when somebody had a pain, we would send them white light. And this is before Reiki or energy came into the world. I still find this stuff fascinating.
We did that. So it took, our class was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So they waited until Sunday, because people probably walk out of the classroom if they started talking about that on Thursday. But yeah, by Sunday we were we were in pretty deep into understanding how the power of our mind works. And they did that. They called it casework. And we did that on Sunday.
Oh, cool.
So it's
very cool.
It's pretty cool. I've met other people that are hypnotists that have a more business corporate background, but never with our same.
I know, that's funny.
This is pretty interesting, and so I would love to find out a little bit more about your unique way of tapping into the power of the power of your mind, bypassing the old beliefs. So what are some ways that you have come up with in your years of experience as a trained hypnotist and a trainer? How are you training people to be able to bypass these old beliefs without having to work on them?
It sounds a little weird, doesn't it? It's like because we hear so much and we have to get to the core issue, we have to do this. So it started when I wrote my book, which is called Powerful Thinking on Purpose. And my whole book was about why affirmations don't work. And because I noticed in my friends, I noticed in myself, affirmations just weren't working. And I put the book down after writing for 3 years because I didn't want to write such a negative book. And I said, I got to come up with a new idea. Otherwise, why the hell should I bother writing a book? Unless there's something new to offer the world. And I had a client who, his name was Steve, and he was a high-level corporate reinsurance, mergers and acquisitions insurance person. And he came to see me because he had a lot of stress at work. And he actually had created this company, but was not happy with the partner who he had known for 25 years, who was a sociopath. He said, Wendy, I need you to help me with stress management. And we talked, and I said, what's the only thing that's going to help you? He said, if I leave. I said, yeah, it sounds like it. He said, I make, at this time, it was years ago, he said, I make over $250,000. He said, I am at the top. I'm at the pinnacle of my career. He said, I have a big house in Pennsylvania. I have a wife. I have 2 kids. And, one of the kids has some disabilities. He said, I know the job market. He said, because there's not that many of us in here. He said, I'm not going to be able to find a job. And he said, my wife doesn't want to move because she works in the area and the kids are in school. And as we're talking, I don't remember if it was him or me, and we were trying to have him imagine or visualize having the perfect job for him. And he couldn't. It was just because his belief system said it doesn't exist, because he knew it didn't exist. And I wanted him to hold on to that thought and that feeling, because when we hold on to the thought and the feeling, we're kind of sending the energy into the universe and that manifestation energy. But he couldn't say, I have the perfect job for me. He couldn't say it because there was a little voice in the back of his mind that was going, bullshit. You can't get that. It's a big voice. And so I said, well, you do like the idea, don't you? He goes, well, I like the idea. I said, well, just close your eyes and imagine I like the idea. I have the perfect job for me. I said, because you do like that idea 100%, don't you? He said, I do like that idea. I said, are you able to kind of hold on to that thought and that feeling because you do like the idea? He said, yes. And in my head, I went, bingo. This is powerful.
If you find value in this personal growth related material, I strongly recommend that you sign up for your $1 trial to my Personal Growth Club. Just head on over to personalgrowthclub.com and get a whole month of premium personal growth club video training materials, meditations. You also get 6 free hypnosis sessions that are valued at over $174, all for this trial of just $1. Even if you cancel, you can keep the 6 hypnosis sessions. That's my gift to you, and that's how confident I am that you are going to love Personal Growth Club. Go to personalgrowthclub.com and start your $1 1-month trial today.
So he went home, he practiced I Like the Idea, he practiced his self-hypnosis, his visualization, and of course he took action. He called everybody he knew, he networked, he did whatever. And I get a phone call from him 4 weeks later. He said, "You're not going to believe this." I'm like, okay. He said, "I got a new job." He said, "Not only did I get a new job," he said, "it's in New York and we're in Pennsylvania." He said, "But I can work at home for 4 days and only have to go to New York 1 day a week." He said, "That's doable." He said, "And I'm making over $100,000 more than I made before."
Wow.
He said, "I had no idea they would create a job for me." He said, "I still am in shock that this stuff works."
That is incredible. And all we did was we made this little shift between something that you couldn't believe to
I like the idea that.
I like the idea that. And I love that idea. I advocate that idea because I am not an advocate of affirmations that are telling lies to ourselves.
We can't. We end up getting even more depressed because nothing's working.
Right, exactly. Right. I love that.
That's what my little book is about. And I've gotten clients from people who've read the book. Mm-hmm. I give it to all my clients. They get a copy. In fact, they have to read at least half before the first session.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Well, because even though I'm a hypnotist and I also do EFT tapping, my real goal in my practice is to teach people how their subconscious works so that instead of using all the willpower in the world, that they are using the power of their subconscious. And when they know how it works, it's like all the puzzle pieces come together.
Right.
So that even though I have my practice specializes in 2 things, and I looked at my calendar today, and I specialize in helping people get over the fear of speaking in public. And 90% of my clients this week, that's the subject. I was like, oh my gosh. I also specialize in trichotillomania, and I specialize in sports hypnosis. I mean, people come to me for other things.
All right. What is trichotillomania?
Trichotillomania. I'm sorry. Not all the listeners know what the heck that word is, unless you have it, and then you know what it is. About 4.3% of women and 1.5% of men pull their hair, or pull their brows, or pull their lashes.
Really?
Pull them out. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's for the hypnotists who are listening. Mm-hmm. It's an emotional habit. It's no different than biting nails. Mm-hmm. However, it has an element of shame and embarrassment. Mm-hmm. And that's where it's hard for them to get over it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, does it get to the point like beyond, does it make them look bad? Does it?
Some people have bald spots. Uh-huh. Some people wear wigs. I had a client this afternoon, a lovely young woman, and she's 31 and she has no eyelashes and no eyebrows. And that's
because she picked them all.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh.
Wow. Most of the time, this kind of a habit starts when a woman or a young girl is under the age of 12. Something stressful happens. She pulls an eyebrow, and that little moment of resistance and then that little pop is as a distractor, and it actually kind of feels a little good for that one little teeny moment.
Yeah.
And then the subconscious goes, oh, here's a good habit I can hold on to. When you get stressed, you're going to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's that sensation that they're looking for.
And it's an emotional habit like overeating and drinking and smoking, but it's just got a lot more shame attached to it.
Yeah. You know, it's so interesting.
Can't hide
Yesterday,
it.
you can't. No.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I was talking about how there are the things that we know and the things that we know that we don't know. And then there's that whole other realm of the things that we don't even know we don't know, right?
There's a
And
word for that too. I forgot what that's called.
and so that was, I didn't even know that was a thing. And so that just came into my awareness for the first time. It's interesting how many things just can kind of, come into your awareness for the first time after you've been on this planet still for so many years.
Well, yeah, and actually, that you said that, one of the things that happens when I help people with some of these habits, the overeating or drinking or pulling or smoking, is that occasionally they'll fall back and find themselves and they go, "Oh my God, I plucked my eyebrow out, I pulled it out," and I give them 3 sentences. And they carry it around in their purse, in their wallet, and on their computer. And one of the sentences is, "I wonder what feeling I was feeling." It's just so they can possibly come up with something, but usually not. But the second one is a sentence designed to help them to forgive themselves. And so I say, would you agree that every day on the planet you're still learning? Just like you mentioned that.
Yes.
And they go, nobody's ever said no.
How could, yeah, it's sort of a, undeniable truth.
Right, an undeniable truth. So they say yes. I say, okay, the second sentence you're going to say to yourself is, that's okay because I'm still learning.
Ooh, I love that.
And then you start back again, 5 minutes later, an hour later. Because we are still learning.
We are.
And people who pull and have any of those bad habits, they beat themselves up. They treat themselves, they would never treat a good friend like that.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, people tend to treat themselves far worse than they would ever treat. If we said the same exact things that we say to ourselves, like, when, I don't know, you do something silly and it's like, oh my God, I'm so stupid.
Yeah.
But you would never say that to another person.
No. And you'd never say, you should have known better. Oh my God.
No, it would be the most, insulting thing that you could say to somebody else. And so why say it to yourself?
Well, people do it a lot, and we do it a lot. Not we, but humans do it a lot. And a friend of mine, another hypnotist, wrote a blog post about the nasty roommate in your brain.
Oh my goodness. I love it. I love that.
Get rid of that. Why the heck would you give it time and space in your head?
Yes.
And so part of, I don't know about your practice, but part of my goals and how I help people is they like themselves more while they're learning and while they're going through stuff. And that's one of the big goals.
That is a great thing.
What do you see in your practice? I'm curious. That's kind of an underlying thing that you find yourself helping people with all the time.
So I attract people who are looking for help in manifesting, and but what I seem to attract, even though my specialty is helping people to attract more business and more, and they just need more confidence in their ability to market themselves and things like that. But as of late, I've been attracting a lot of clients that are having relationship dilemmas, like really interesting relationship dilemmas where either, they kind of realize that maybe they were married to the wrong person, or they, and so things like that. And so what I have to do is I have to instill the confidence in them to give them the clarity to be able to make a decision to move forward because they're stuck. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean,
very complex issues.
It really is. But they do get stuck really easily.
Yeah.
And I know because I have friends who are stuck in marriages that are just as dreary as dishwater, and they've been stuck there for 30 years.
Right.
But lack of confidence and fear really holds them back, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it's, what if there's nobody that's just right for me? What if I am going to spend the rest of my life alone? And, so there's a lot of really deep fears and insecurity around that with people.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm single, so I've had some of those thoughts in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And more of, can I trust somebody out there?
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you really can't work on trust issues. You just either have to do it or don't do it.
And I think it all ultimately comes back to, can you trust yourself? And that just comes from, I believe, instilling the confidence, instilling the belief in yourself that you deserve, to be happy. And it really also kind of comes down to realizing that nobody out there and nothing can make you happy. It all has to be self-generated.
So you're still doing the manifestation stuff. This is just kicking it up a notch, because everybody manifesting love is ultimately, isn't that one of the big goals?
It absolutely is. And so I do agree. I attract a lot of people who are looking to manifest, things like soulmates. But I also, it's like my, my ultimate, I don't know, my passion is helping people to manifest, business success or go, do the thing that we did 20 years ago. Take that leap from maybe something that you're not passionate about into something that you are passionate about. And, that the same thing can really be said about relationships.
Like you could have been talking about the same subject.
It really is. It really is. And it just comes down to this belief, this personal empowerment, that the belief that I do deserve to be happy, to be ecstatic, to be passionate, to feel great, to have what I want. And my perfect partner, my perfect business, my perfect reality does exist. And it's all about aligning yourself and matching up with that.
And it's a shame because so many people think it's easier to take a pill.
Yes.
And it never works. It's all about our thoughts.
It is. It's absolutely, our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, our beliefs, our behaviors. But yeah, ultimately it starts, from your thoughts. So what is it that you love most about your career as a hypnotist?
Oh my gosh. Well, I remember, if I was comparing my career as a hypnotist to my career in the world, people actually thank me.
Oh, that's a good feeling.
They thank me at the end of the day, and that is awesome. I've always been into stuff with the mind ever since I was like 14, and reading about past life regressions and any sort of mind stuff. It's a question I don't even know how to answer, except that I wake up every morning, I look forward to seeing my clients. And if I have a day that's free, then there's still stuff I like to do, but there's just something really gratifying. And what's great is that there's always new things to learn, and learn about other people, learn about ourselves, learn about the world we live in. It's, to me, is one of the coolest, most fascinating careers on the planet. Absolutely. And so that's why I love training, because there's places where I can't make a difference. I can't go into a hospital and make a difference. I'm not a nurse, but I can train nurses. and I can train teachers, and they can all go out in the world and make a big difference.
Yeah, so that invites a question. So you mentioned that you train therapists, and so now you're also talking about nurses, teachers. Who else is good for this kind of training?
Well, I've noticed a lot of massage therapists, after they've spent 40 years, their body is going, oh my God, let me do something different.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's anybody with a passion for the mind. And, the truth is only about 5% of the people I train open up their own business and put out their own shingle, but others are using it for their own use and for their friends, because I've created my course so that when they come to the 5-day at the end of all those hours of training, it's more of a personal development course.
Right.
It's just under the umbrella of hypnosis. My 18-year-old cousins have taken my course.
Oh, nice.
What are they going to? One's in San Diego, and she actually is she's now 20, and she sees clients. The other one just uses it when he takes tests in college. And so it just really attracts a whole different mishmash of people.
Yes. So what, do you have a particular specialty when you see clients, or is there a particular client that you like working with the most?
Well, my specialty, as I mentioned, is public speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And I can actually so confidently say to my client, look, I have helped so many people with public speaking. This always works. However, it has nothing to do with me. It has to do with how you understand how your mind works, because you're the one who's doing all the stuff. And it's absolutely true. It always works.
Hello, this is Victoria Gallagher. I hope you're enjoying listening to the Power of Your Mind podcast. As a way of thanking you for listening, I'd like to offer you a one-time discount of 35% off your first order at hyptalk.com. Just go to hyptalk.com and enter the code PODCAST in the discount code area in your cart, and you'll receive 35% off your first order. Thank you so much for listening to the Power of Your Mind podcast.
And that's been really gratifying, is with the public speaking, because I've seen clients who are 14 years old, who are in high school, who are like, I can't stand up in front of the class, all the way up to people who are 72, who have to give a presentation, and it's the first time she's ever spoken in public.
Right.
And I realized after doing it, I've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and I've also been part of Toastmasters. So we even take to the next step, and I say, bring in your wedding speech that you're going to be giving next week, and I'm going to teach you the physical strategies you need. I'm going to teach you how to keep yourself inside the state you want. And we even practice that kind of stuff too.
That's great. So what do you recommend for somebody who wants to break into becoming a motivational speaker, as far as any techniques or any visualizations or any affirmations, or what are the most powerful techniques you could?
Probably. Is this for you or for somebody else?
Well, I think we can all benefit from time to time on honing in on our skills. I'm actually about to do the Law of Attraction Intensive in 28 days, which is a 2-day workshop. So, hey, if there's any additional tips but, for my audience who might be coaches or might be entrepreneurs and wanting to break into doing some more motivational speaking, and they just haven't been able to make that happen.
And so if they haven't been able to make it happen and they've been procrastinating, that's just simply a sign of a subconscious fear.
Yeah.
Or a belief that I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough. And so as a hypnotherapist, I would probably do an age regression and informing, doing an informed child kind of a technique. Would also do the basic, really powerful visualizations. And even EFT if there's another physical fear or other techniques. Because fear is usually what holds us back from most of these things. In fact, underneath almost everything is fear. I shouldn't say that because maybe that's not true. But people who have books to write and they don't get around to finishing it, or they want to do something and they can't. It's a fear. So they have to find ways, because trying to push yourself is just going to make yourself feel worse. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. And unless you address that underlying fear.
Yeah. I mean, just saying I like the idea that is, well, that's just a part of a larger process, just like the way you would help your clients.
Mm-hmm. That sounds good. That sounds good.
Needless to say, that's one of my goals, but I haven't done it. I think I could hire you.
To put on a workshop like that? Or
I've put on workshop. I haven't put a workshop on with my own stuff.
Okay.
I have a company that is having a huge convention, and I'm one of the people in the running to possibly do it.
Oh, nice.
So if I get chosen, I'm excited. And if I don't, that's okay. But I haven't put out my own stuff yet.
Yeah.
And I would say my conscious logical mind would say, well, I'm busy with other things. But then my subconscious would probably say, I'm scared shitless what people are going to think about me. Oh my God.
So when it comes to your hypnotherapy certification training, how do you, when you have people come for your 5-day one-on-one, that's different. That's just you're in a different mode, or?
Oh my gosh. I mean, they all start, I teach this course 3 times a year, and they all start their 10-week video training on the same day.
Okay.
And then they show up for 5 days for 50 hours in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
And this is where the hands-on practice comes. This is where the personal, throughout the 10 weeks, they're still working on themselves too while they're learning.
Yes.
So I want them to experience all this. And it is fun. I mean, it's like me doing my own, motivational speaking as those 5 days. So I do love it. And I'm not even a part. I kind of take myself out of all the equations when I'm helping clients, when I'm helping students.
Yeah.
I have to. And I meet them where they are. And that's why it ends up being a lot of fun. I had 5 of my grads at Hypnothoughts this year. And that was really fun having them come.
Yes, definitely. Well, as you reminded me of a mantra or something that I've told myself whenever I'm in front of a group of people. And, because I have a tendency, I think sometimes when I'm speaking, to feel like I get out of the authentic, I get away from the authentic Victoria, and I start to feel like, not consciously, but somehow unconsciously, I step into this put on a show kind of mode. And I don't mean to, but what I realize is that that's just, a mechanism that I use to overcome my own feelings of fear and self-doubt and things like that. So the thing that works for me to get more present and be here is just to say, this isn't about me. This is not about me. This is about helping them become the best them they can be. So I just have to change. You have to change the focus and take it off of how am I performing?
Yeah, because and that's actually one of the strategies when people are speaking in public or doing a presentation. I teach them the NLP Circle of Excellence.
Yes,
and they're inside. But inside this circle of excellence is a circle of love and appreciation and calm and relaxing. And then whenever they speak in front of a group, because it's really, the people are there to hear them speak and to learn. Mm-hmm. So I have them be up on stage inside this beautiful circle of excellence, which is a circle of love. And I have them take the circle and spread it to everybody in the audience. And then it kind of puts us all together in that same kind of space, and that space of energetic rapport.
Yes.
And I don't know how to quantify it, and I don't know if it's real, but it sure feels real. And that helps me keep myself really focused.
That sounds great. That sounds great.
And you probably do it naturally too.
Oh, yeah.
You just don't even think about it.
Exactly.
But
After that first, few minutes of that temporary moment of like, what's it going to be like? You do, like, within the first 5 minutes, you settle in and I start being more authentic, more genuine, and start training rather than acting.
yeah. And this just makes it happen. So you start it beforehand.
Exactly. That's very cool. I like that. So, well, I would love to have our audience find out more about how maybe they can get involved in being a hypnotherapist themselves. And so you're offering a free gift for our audience, I understand? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it, or do you want me to?
I'll talk about it.
Okay.
So it's a 4 free videos, and in it, it's a 4 free video, and you can find it at Hypnotherapy Trainer with TRAINER.com. And when you sign up, you're going to get a even deeper explanation of I like the idea that. You're going to get basically learning how to do self-hypnosis at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, if you're interested in my training program, that'll lead you towards that too. Because what we do as marketers is we lead people, and if they go, that's interesting, they'll find it.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it sounds like a great program. So learn the power of hypnosis in the 4 free videos, and then you're also going to get the 5 magic words to bypass any limiting belief.
Which you guys have learned here anyway. But you'll also learn I believe that things can be done pretty quickly. So the self-hypnosis I teach takes about 120 seconds, 2 minutes, 90 seconds.
Oh, very good. So you can hypnotize yourself in 2 minutes.
Well, yeah, of course we can. Absolutely. It doesn't have to take a long time.
No.
We make up a lot of rules about things.
We do. Oh my God, we do. It should take me 10 minutes to get into.
I know. So being able to, and this also bypasses the resistance to, I've had people said, oh, I don't want to meditate. I was told you have to do it for an hour. Well, I wouldn't either. You have to do it for an hour.
You can do it for 30 seconds if you want.
Right, you can. So that's my gift to everybody.
Very good. Well, thank you so much. That's very generous of you. And I really appreciate you coming on the show. To find out more about Wendy, you can visit a few websites here. We've got the centerofsuccess.com. We've got powerfulthinkingonpurpose.com, and then, of course, hypnotherapytrainer.com. And each of those has like a different purpose, or are they all ultimately?
No, they're different purpose. The Center of Success is the name of the office that I work out of, and it's in a beautiful old 1790s stone building. And when we named the office, I called it the Center of Success, so I could wake up in the morning and I'm going to work in the Center of Success. And that's why we called it that. So that's actually a physical office that I see clients, and I see them over Skype, just like you do, and over Zoom.
Right.
And so that talks about all the kind of different things and FAQs and hypnosis and all that stuff. Hypnotherapy Trainer is just focused on therapy training, which is really a game changer in people's lives.
Yeah.
I don't find out about it till later, till my students say, gee, did you know that I got over my insomnia during class? I'm like, did? I had no idea. Because people are hypnotizing each other, doing personal things. Just amazes me. And I wish I had a big enough ego that I would think it's me, but it's not.
It's never us. We're just a
No,
guide. We're just saying the words and
we
connecting
are.
with them, but it's really them doing the work.
Thank you. I want to thank you. This was so much fun. I
Yes, thank you
love talking
too.
about this. And I don't have a podcast anymore, but if I did, I was like, maybe I should get a podcast because it would be fun to interview you.
That it would be fun. It would be great.
Maybe just one day I will interview you on your podcast instead.
There we go.
And then you could reveal all sorts of different things, right?
That would be fun. That would definitely be fun. Yeah. I think it's a really, really great thing to have a podcast, to have this platform. For me, it's really brought a bunch of opportunities that I wouldn't have had before. It's been a slow burn. It's taken a while to get that to come, but after being here for a couple of years, I've developed a pretty good listener base. And after people hear the podcast over and over again, they do trickle onto the website, and I've gotten a few speaking opportunities from it, and people have signed up for my seminars and downloaded my app, and it's just because I ask people, well, where'd you find out about me? The podcast. And it's like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Well, and you're a guest on other people's podcasts, I expect, too.
I am. Probably only 25% of of the time I'm a guest, and about 75% of the time I'm usually interviewing. But I'm looking to eventually have that the other way around. So I'm manifesting that.
Well, ask your listeners.
There we go. I'm asking my listeners right now, if you would like to interview me as a guest on your podcast, you can go to victoriamgallagher.com and send me an email, and I would love to be a guest on your podcast. There we go.
Perfect.
Just ask. Well, thank you so much, Wendy, for being on the Power of Your Mind podcast and enlightening us on your cool techniques on bypassing those limiting beliefs in a easy way without having to be intrusive and get, into the down and dirty, deep recesses of our subconscious mind. And I really appreciate your style and your technique.
Thank you so much. And I'll see you in Las Vegas next year.
I'll see you next year.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with your friends. And once again, be sure to subscribe to the Power of Your Mind podcast if not already. We can be found as Hip Talk on all our social media accounts. So like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, subscribe on YouTube, and sign up for your free self-hypnosis video training course at hiptalk.com. Be sure to subscribe to the Power of Your Mind podcast, and you'll be instantly notified the moment the next podcast becomes available. Also, please be sure to leave a rating and a review to tell us how you're enjoying these episodes, and that way you're making a contribution toward others getting to share in this valuable information. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. You've been listening to the Power of Your Mind podcast, brought to you by HipTalk.com, Personal Growth Club, and HypnoCloud apps available at iTunes.